Assalamu alaikum. Hello, grade 5. Today we are going to continue our math lessons, and today's lesson is circumference of a circle. New word? I know. But first, to understand it, we need to answer this question. What do you remember about the circle? Well, from the first term, we learned about this. The circle has radius, which connects between the center of the circle and any point on the circle. Chord connects between any 2 points on the circle. Diameter, the longest chord, the chord that passes through the center. All of those are located inside the circle itself. But today we are going to learn more about the circle with this outer line, which is around the circle. The distance around the circle. The distance around any shape is called the perimeter. But in the circle is a very special shape. So we can say the distance around the circle is called circumference. The circumference is the distance around the circle. Well, how to get the circumference? How to measure it? It's a round. I can't measure it with any rulers. The math scientists have found out a relationship between this circumference or the distance around the circle and the distance across the circle. If you divide them by each other like this, distance around the circle over the distance across the circle, or circumference over the diameter, by using a lot of circles with different size, you are going to have constant value, which is called pi. It's the constant value that you can find by dividing the circumference of any circle to its diameter. Whatever the size of the circle, big or small, you're going to have the same value. Then, why we call this value as pi? Why we don't write its value? Because it's an infinite number, which means we need to approximate it first. When they approximate it, they found the value of pi equals 22/7 or 3.14, which means it is approximated to the nearest hundredth. Why we approximate it? Because it's an infinite number, which means you can find after the point infinite digits. So, we are going to use the letter pi instead of the number, and when we are going to solve, we are going to use the number according to what he's going to give it to you, 3.14 or 22/7. Like this, we understand about the pi, and we understand about the relationship between the circumference of the circle and its diameter. Now, I need to find a rule or a formula to find the circumference of the circle itself. From here, you can find this formula. Circumference equals pi multiplied diameter, which means when you multiply the pi, 22/7 or 3.14, by the diameter of any circle, you're going to find its circumference. To make it much more easier, we can make C instead of circumference equals pi multiplied by D instead of the diameter. Okay, like this we found the first rule of getting the circumference. What about the diameter itself? Do we have a problem with the diameter? Do you remember when we used to draw the circle? Not every time he gave us the diameter. Sometimes we have the radius. If I don't have the diameter in my question and I have the radius, what to do? Remember, the diameter equals 2 times the radius, which means instead of writing diameter here, we can replace it to be like this. Circumference will equal pi multiply 2 multiply radius. To make it a little easier, C equals 2 multiplied by multiply r, or 2 pi r. So from here, the circumference of any circle will be C equals pi times the diameter, or 2 pi times the r. From here we find the two rules. We are ready for our questions. Exercise 1. Find the circumference of a circle with diameter length 14 cm. Consider pi as 22/7. So here we can use pi as 22/7, not 3.14. We have the diameter length. Diameter length equals 14, which means I need the rule of the diameter. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Pi times diameter, 22/7 multiplied by 14 to have 44 centimeters. From here, need the circumference, you have the diameter multiplied with pi, which is 22/7. Exercise 2. Find the circumference of a circle with radius length equals 10 centimeters. Consider pi at 3.14. Here, the radius length, not the diameter, and pi as 3.14, not 22/7. You can put the rule, but the rule for the radius. Circumference of a circle equals 2 pi r. 2 times 3.14 times 10 to have 62.8. Like this, we use the diameter once and we use the radius once. Be careful about which rule that you are going to use, the rule of the diameter or the rule of the radius. Exercise 3. Find the length of the radius of a circle if its circumference as 75.36 centimeters. Consider pi as 3.14. You need the length of the radius itself, and you have the circumference. He's giving you the circumference and asking about the radius. At this time, we are going to have a little change. If you have the circumference equals 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. In this case, if I want to have the r itself, then I'm going to change this rule a little. From here, we can find this. R alone is going to be circumference over 2 pi. From here, I kept the c and divided 2 pi over the c to find the r alone. So, c equals 2 pi r and r equals c over 2 pi. The same thing here. R, c over 2 pi, 75.36 over 2 multiplied by 3.14 will equal 12 centimeters. And finally, I found this rule for getting the radius. Exercise 4. If the circumference of a circle is 154 centimeters, then find its diameter length. The same thing here. He's giving us the circumference of the circle and asking about its diameter. Consider pi as 22/7. We said c equals pi times d. Now, what if I want the d itself? The d, or the diameter, is going to be circumference here over, what do you have beside the diameter? Pi. D equals circumference divide the pi. I have the circumference as 154 and the pi consider it as 22/7. Put the rule and start putting your numbers. D equals c over pi equals 154 over 22/7. Like this, we can use your calculator to solve it. It's going to be 49 centimeters. Now from our book in page 60, calculate the perimeter of each of the following figures. The perimeter is the outer line. Don't forget about this. The outer line only. Which means if you moved it like this, I need this shape. Yeah, the outer line. Here, I need the measure of this too. And this curve here, yeah. Which means I will not use this part. Don't forget it. I will not use this line in the middle. To find the perimeter of this shape, what we have here, this is not a circle. It is only half a circle, or it's called semicircle. It is called semicircle. Half the circle, not the whole circle, and 150 centimeter, 70 centimeter, and there's going to be also 150 centimeter. The measured of these line segments are 150, 150, and 70. Now, I need first to find this curve or this semicircle. It is not a whole circle, so I need to get the circumference of a semicircle. Circumference of a semicircle, which means half the circumference of the circle itself. Half multiply pi multiply diameter. Why we use this? Because we have the whole diameter here. The diameter of the circle is like this side, 70 centimeter too. Half multiply pi, which is 3.14, multiply by 70. You will have it as 109.9 centimeters. Like this, we find the circumference of the semicircle. All what we need to do is to add to it the rest of the measures. The perimeter of the shape or of the figure itself is going to be 109.9 plus 70 plus 150 plus 150 equals 479.9, approximately equal 480 centimeters. The next shape. From here we have a semicircle and another semicircle. Two semicircle means a complete circle with diameter length what? 60. So what we have here is a complete circle with diameter length 60 centimeters. Then what we need else? We have a line here and we have a semicircle here, another line, another semicircle. First we need to get the semicircles to semicircle, which means the complete circle. Circumference of the circle, pi times d. Pi equals 3.14 and the d is 60 centimeters. It's going to be 188.4 centimeters. Like this, we found the circumference of the circle itself. What else do we need in this perimeter? The measure of the two opposite sides. One of them is 130 and the other is going to be 130 centimeters. So to get the perimeter, just add them. The perimeter of the shape or of the figure itself is going to equal 188.4 plus 130 plus 130, which means 448.4 centimeters. Next question. A wheel of a bicycle has a diameter length 56 centimeters. Find the covered distance when completing one turn. First, find the covered distance. Second, how many turns should be done to cover a distance of 352 meters? We learned to understand the question very well and start it one by one. A wheel of a bicycle had a diameter length, like this I have the diameter. I got it. 56 centimeters. Find the covered distance when completing one turn. What is the meaning of completing one turn? All of the bicycle move and come to the same point again. Okay, which means the whole circumference of the circle. The distance covered with one turn is the circumference of the circle. You have the diameter, so easy to find the circumference. Pi times d, which means 22/7 multiplied by 56. 176 centimeters, or 1.76 meters. Why? Because the next questions need a measure in meters. And do you remember from the beginning of our math lessons? We don't use any two different units in the same questions. You have your meter, then you will have to change this to meters. Let's understand the next wanted. How many turns should be done to cover a distance of 352 meters? Just a little, I have the circumference of the circle itself, and you are giving me another distance, which means when I divide them by each other, I'm going to find the number of turns that should be done to cover this distance, which means number of turns 352 divided by 1.76 equals 200 turns. Well, like this, we learned how to get the circumference of the circle, how to find the radius from the circumference, how to find the diameter from the circumference, and how to use the circumference in our real life. I hope you are enjoying our math lesson. Thank you for watching. See you next time.